Welcome, folks. Brian Russell here, League Director. I am at Browns Creek Trail System, our Fairy Versed event and race for the season, for the 2024 season. Something new for this season, we're going to make an attempt as a league to video record all of our race courses for the season and post those on our website so you all can see, coach, student athlete, parent even, what our race courses look like well before you get here. I want to note that I'm joined by Ken Wells, our new league announcer, who is holding the camera right now. He's going to ride with me. Hey Ken, say hi to everyone.
Hello.
On there. Yep. Going to ride the course with me, give everyone a preview. But I am standing right now in what most folks know as Pit Zone, if you've been here before in previous seasons. And everyone that comes to Browns Creek, very familiar with the airfield right across. And just as a quick orientation, coming to Browns Creek, top of the hill, that's where our parking is. And this kind of bowl we're sitting in right now is what was our pit zone last year. But the reason we're sitting in the bowl is we're going to change the course this season. We're going to start somewhere down here. And I will just give a caveat to all of our course and video previews is that this is always subject to change. The crew will come out on a Friday, start setting things up. We might have to change things based on local conditions. But one, we're going to change the course this season to mix things up here and enable us to ride some other portions of the trail. Because NICA Guidance always wants us to have an uphill start wherever possible, this is kind of the best place to do it. So when Ken and I jump on the bikes here, we're going to start from down in the bowl and we're going to head out on the new course. And I will describe that as we go along. So Ken, you ready to get going here?
I'm ready to rock and roll.
Let's hop on the bikes and get going.
Alrighty.
All right. Okay, and here we go with that uphill in the grass start. For this new course, we are gonna pedal for a while in the grass. As we come up over the hill, people will start to recognize that single track to my right, which we normally start on. We're going to avoid that this season and not dive right into single track. We're going to use this uphill and kind of wide start to spread some folks out a little bit more before we get into the single track. Let's go biking by. It looks like our good friends from Cape Fear Sorba are out here. Every time I come out to Browns Creek, they have put something new in. They do a great job out here. Happy to be good partners with them. And then you can see we're going to continue to follow this kind of Jeep trail a little bit. But as we come to this cutout in between the single track, we're going to make a wide sweeping turn. So hopefully student athletes are spread out a little bit at this point. We'll keep the turn wide as possible, but we will start to turn left at this point before we head into that single track. And again, we'll make this as wide and sweeping as we can. Spread folks out. We're not going to hit the single track right there. There's that little janky kicker into a drop, which we'll avoid. But more than likely, just where I'm pointed right now, you can see the single track. We'll bring the student athletes into the course somewhere around here. And as I come around the corner, we can see the Fayetteville Dirt Grinders out here for a practice, evaluating the course. And I know this will disappoint maybe some of our riders. We will not be doing the gap jump right away on our race course. Say hi to your race director league, Todd Lester.
Hey,
also head coach of Fayetteville Dirt Grinders. Hey, Todd. And here we go. Got some student athletes evaluating that gap jump. It will not be optional for us on our race course. Hey, Dirt Grinders. Say hey. And so for folks that have raced Browns Creek before, at this point, very familiar to you, you can notice the single track in the field. I'll just make the note here that, you know, course race guidelines need to stay 3 feet left or right of the trail in order to pass. Otherwise you come off course. We've had some difficulties with that in previous seasons. Some student athletes cutting corners a little bit. We'll do our best to mark out the trail best we can. And like I said, Cape Fear is doing a great job of maintaining the trails out here. You can see they've done a little bit of ditching to prevent some erosion on the single track. And we'll pause here for a second. All right, and again, folks that have been here, Browns Creek before, know the deal about the single track in the field. Just met this morning with Cape Fear Sorba. They're doing some trail improvements out here. We might see a little bit of work, and we can see they're working up here already on it. So thanks to them, appreciate that. You can see where they've laid in some clay since the last time we were out here. Little kicker here you'll just want to be careful of when you first ride. And then again, thanks to Cape Fear Sorba and all the great work they're doing out here.
Thank you, brother.
Hey folks, yeah, it's great. Yeah, check this out. A lot of space to get up the trail. Nothing like putting a couple hundred riders on this thing on Saturday. That'll bake it in real well. While we're out here, look, they're doing some corner work. A little bit wider last time I rode it. Some opportunities for passing, awesome. Yeah, look at this new clay down here. This is really nice. Yeah, that clay is great. That's riding real well. Pretty nice. And so as we come to the top of the hill, coach tip. First time you're taking your student athletes on this trail, this is a decent little downhill right here with a couple kickers on it. So you're gonna wanna watch your speed coming down. Here's the first one. Good bike body separation. Second one. And then these down here, if you've got decent speed, you can launch off these inadvertently. So again, during that pre-ride portion, take those with some caution. Don't get kicked off of those. Again, some more clay work out here. Awesome. Another little kicker. Might still have some speed coming through that corner. Be careful of that. And as we come up here, we're gonna hang left. Again, a downhill. Got a little bit of roots, so watch your speed. Oh man, we got a fan club out here. All right, so you get a little bit of speed coming down the hill into that bermed wooden corner. So that's probably a dismount evaluate, just like Todd's doing with his team there, coaching his student athletes through. Hey, what do you think so far, Dirt Grinders? Pretty good?
Yes,
all right. And we're still on our original race course. You can tell your student athletes as they come in the woods, we'll have a little bit of climbing and descending, some punchy climbs, a little bit of roots to deal with while they're in the woods back here. Here's one of those punchy climbs, a little bit of roots. And we'll see what Bill Stevens says. We will likely route around that feature for the race course, or maybe leave it open. Again, that's one of those game day decisions we make. Another punchy little climb. Yeah, trail so far still in great shape after being gone a year. A little bit of a corner coming across that bridge. Okay, we're pretty much at the top of that last section of climbing. Again, game day decision, what we do with this little feature right here. We'll come along Route 87, here to my left. And still on the previous season's course so far. Begin a little bit of downhill through here. Nice way to recover after some of that climbing. A little more downhill. Okay, you'll have to watch the roots coming through there, and then roots right on the climb coming out. So it might be a dismount and evaluate point for coaches and student athletes on the pre-ride. And then I am going to stop here because this is the first change from previous season courses. You can see here the sign that says green outer loop. We are going to go left this year. This is normally where we go right and head back towards the field, but we're going to go check out a different portion of Browns Creek for a race course this year and head left at this greens outer loop, and certainly the race crew will get this marked off before the actual race. So again, coming left to take greens outer loop. So this will be new at this point if we've got veterans returning for this season. So coaches, you'll want to take your time on pre-ride with this one, and we'll point out a couple things along the way that you'll want to pay attention to. First one is this little crossing right here. We'll probably work with Cape Fear Sorba to fill that in a little bit, put some snow fencing on the side. And this is the next one here. We're working with Cape Fear Sorba to re-bridge this, if everyone can see. This is not something you want to put a couple hundred racers across going near full speed. So we just met with Greg Brinson, President Cape Fear Sorba. He's aware of it, going to get us a different bridging option across this creek down here. But regardless, whatever the bridge is, probably a good dismount and evaluate opportunity. Since you're coming downhill, going into a corner, you want to make sure your student athletes are ready for that. So we will cross. Nice little climb. We will stay to the left here. You will see a sign for shortcut to Mega Berm. We are not doing Mega Berm as part of our race course, so we will stay left at that small little intersection. And we are going to head back out towards Route 87 on Outer Green Loop. You can hear the traffic out there on 87. And a little bit of a climb coming up alongside 87 right here. Okay, and at this point, I am looking to the right because we are looking for essentially the Jeep Trail. And I'll pause right here so everyone can see it. And you can see Cape Fear Sorba has put some wood across the connector. But we are going to come off Green Outer Loop at this point and head down this Jeep Trail. So I like the option here to use this Jeep Trail. You can see it's definitely double track. And so this gives our student athletes an opportunity for passing for sure. Coaches, you can tell your student athletes, you know, for that early portion of the race, if they're stuck behind someone, you know, wanting to pass, just can't find that good place to do it on that single track. Tell them be patient. Once you kick out on this Jeep Trail, this is just a great opportunity to do that. I'll talk as we continue down. One of the things the race crew will think through is this will start trending downhill, and so student athletes will be able to pick up some pretty good speed out here, and the Jeep Trail essentially dives into single track again. And again, we'll just want to think that through and maybe chicane a little bit before they're heading right into single track and a pretty decent corner right away. Yeah, here's something we'll work to clean up before, you know, we get out here to the race. Just this deadfall. We'll ask Cape Fear Sorba to help us out, or maybe Team Trail Corps opportunity for the local teams come out here. Yeah, you can tell the recent storms have put quite a bit down in terms of deadfall around here. Here's another one. So yeah, usually our course crew does a good job taking care of this stuff. Let's see if I can move this a little bit. Yeah, that gets a little bit out of the way. And here's that spot. It's going to tighten up a little bit back into what's almost single track. So again, we'll just want to think that through. Coaches, you can talk your student athletes through that. All right, as I said, trail's starting to tighten up a little bit. Not quite double track anymore. And it's going to pick back up to the Green Outer Loop right here. And coaches, I'll slow down, see how it comes into a left-hand corner right there, into a right-hand corner. So picking up some speed coming down that Jeep Trail, a little bit of a concern. Again, we'll think that through, how to mitigate, but certainly a coach's point. And then you're coming into a pretty fun downhill right here. Just tell your student athletes, watch their speed. You can see here a couple root drops. So bike body separation, I'm getting back a little bit in the saddle on there. Again, a couple of roller right there. And then from having ridden this before, as I come around this corner, it's a pretty punchy little climb. So heart rate's gonna come back up after that nice active recovery on that Jeep trail, if that's what I'm doing. And we are still climbing. Okay, we've come to the top of that climb, back into another nice downhill section. Pre-ride, certainly watch speed. A little bit of a kicker drop right there. And towards the bottom here, not too bad, a little rooty. Nice clay work there. And yes, we will not be including that wooden tabletop in the race course. We'll come right and then back into the trail system. From this point, having raced this course, this section of the trail before with the Coastal Carolina Off-Road Series, sponsored by Cape Fear Sorba, everything for the next good, probably 3/4 of a mile is pretty flat. I call it my active recovery zone. You might want to advise your student athletes of the same. After they get through that bit of climbing, they've got an opportunity to recover a little bit and or, you know, put some speed down while it's flat down here. But yeah, it's pretty nice and smooth. You can flow really well through here. As with all our venues, we'll keep an eye on the weather. We'll make an assessment that Friday if it's wet down here and anything we might need to do. But this is a really enjoyable portion of the course. Not bad in terms of passing opportunities. Got a little bit of space in between the trees down here. For those that have been paying attention to the Adventure Passport and know there's a portion in there where you need to ride beside a creek, well, here you go. Even on our race course, there is Browns Creek to my left. So you can get credit for your Adventure Passport while you're out here at Browns Creek. Not too bad. Not much so far in terms of elevation change. Like I've mentioned, still down in the flatlands here. Trail looks to be in great shape. Good opportunity to put the pedal down. Little bridge crossing. Another bridge crossing into a pretty fun corner. It's bermed. Yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. Punchy little climb. And then at this point, I'm looking to my left. We're gonna come off the green outer loop and get out to this fire break that's to my left to come back towards the infield and where we started from. And we'll probably do that right about here. So you can see this intersection. If you go off to my right, little bridge, that continues the green outer loop. And then we'll work with the race crew to get a left turn in here somewhere to take us out to the fire break right there. All right, so coming out to the fire break, and we will go right at this point. Because of the recent rain, a little sloppy out here, but as you can tell, plenty of space to pass. So again, your student athletes on that single track, looking for a place to pass, can't quite find it. Exercise a little patience and you'll have a good area out here. So we will hang left right here and come on to what's called the Wild West Loop. And to the right here, little bit of elevation gain right here after being down in the lowlands. And then for folks that have raced our previous course, you will see right about here, and this is a decision we'll have to make, so I'll stop here. Right about here is usually where we pick up on the original course, the Wild West Loop. And so that's about 3/4 of a mile before we come back, and it will link in right up the hill here where that white tape is. We might, to make Browns Creek our first race course, a little bit shorter to make sure we can squeeze everything in during the day. And the reason we do that is because we spread out those waves. We just have a lot of riders. We don't have data on, so we put a lot of space in between the categories and the waves. We might cut off Wild West Loop and head up this hill right here to save us a little bit of distance. But for the video preview, we'll ride the whole thing so you see that. But again, if we decide to cut, you've got a real punchy little climb to get to the top of this rise right here. But we'll do the full Wild West Loop so you get to see that. Again, this is now we're back on what is our traditional race course. And so this will be familiar to those of you that have ridden that on previous seasons. And Wild West Loop, pretty fast, pretty flowy. We'll come down to the end of it and a little bit of a hairpin back to the left to head back towards that intersection I just described. But nothing too challenging here on Wild West Loop so far. And here's that turn to the left, and you can see to my right is the infield. We've got awesome spectators in the league. Fully expect to see parents and other student athletes along the side of the course cheering folks on. Great spectator zone right there to my right. Check things out. Punchy little climb, couple routes, nothing too extreme. And this is that intersection I told you about. If we cut off that Wild West Loop, we'll come up from the left here, and then I'm gonna follow to the right and a quick left. And again, we're still on the previous race course, and we will follow that until we decide to end the new race course. This was here last season, this wooden berm corner. Awesome. Cape Fear Sorba does great work out here. Probably a good dismount evaluate for your riders that are not accustomed to these types of features, but flows really well. A lot of fun. It's a nice feature out here. And then generally the rest of the course is going to stay pretty close to the infield, and it's a series of descents and climbs is how I'd describe it. So a lot of opportunity for some shifting work, your various forms of climbs, bike body separation coming through these descents and the like. Very familiar to folks that have raced here before. We come up past these roots, we will stay left here where that arrow is pointed. Twisty turny, kind of fun. Another one of those berm wooden corners. That's a whole lot of fun. Fun corner there. This climb here can be a little technical. You can see the roots on there, very sharp left through, some roots sticking out of the bottom of those trees that flank that corner. Opportunity for maybe someone to come off the bike, put a foot down. Just want to caution your student athletes about that possibility and have a plan if it happens. And climbing back up towards the field, and for those that remember, we're gonna have to do that at least one more time. And we'll go into a descent here. Small root drop into a pretty sharp corner. Might want to dismount and evaluate that one on your first time through. More descent, another wooden berm corner, a lot of fun. And then those that have ridden and raced here before, you know what's coming up. It is the climb to get back up towards the infield. So proper gear selection, thinking about how you want to attack it, seated, crouched, or standing. I'm gonna try seated the whole way. Not too bad so far. And then as we come around to the left, another great spectator zone, usually tons of people cheering you on. Right here, cowbells out. And we are almost to the finish of our new race course. Small little kicker. gradual climb along the infield. And then new for this course, most of our folks are used to continuing on this trail. But as you come back towards the field, we are going to route riders to the right. We're going to come off the trail, around sweeping corner. Might have to do something about that porta-john. And then back along the edge of the woods here towards the field. And then you can recognize where we started. You'll come back into the race course right about here, probably towards the finish right about here, and then an exit. And that is it. Hope you enjoyed the preview. Again, I think that's the main course we'll use. You always make some refinements until you get there on site on the weekend. Race crew's been doing this a while, make some good game day decisions, and we will see all the coaches Saturday morning and brief them on what those changes are and what the course is looking like. But yeah, thanks for riding along, so to speak, and we'll see you at the next one.